veterinary practice website design matter simply because the first impression is everything. So there is a Stanford University research on web credibility that says that 75% of people base the credibility of a business on its website. So while they are visiting your website, the pet parents will very rapidly going to decide if they are going to either trust you or not to trust you to take care of their pet. So design is just no longer this aesthetic thing. It's really, really important to build this trust, which are essential to create this relationship with your client.
So, and I want you guys to think about like, what is trust, right? So there was another study done that said when someone visits your website, it takes their brain 0.2 of a second to form an opinion about your brand. And it takes an additional 2.6 seconds for their eyes and brain to connect to even understand like, wait, what am I looking at? So that's really crazy. That shows you that, 3 out of 4 people that come to your site are going to say yes or no on the spot. And obviously Whisker Cloud does a lot of things, but this is really what we do. It's custom websites. It's showcasing the hospital. It's showcasing your mission. It's showing pictures, showing reviews, adding cool designs, showing your patients. These are the things you want to do. But you come to a website like this, you can see what it looks like. You can read reviews. You can see that they do telehealth. You can see patients. Really easy. It's easy to see where they are on a map. These are important things that matter. It's really easy to book an appointment. I mean, everything is right here for you. When you look at other sites, it's stock photos, it's outdated logos, there's no appointment buttons. That's okay. I mean, you look at the site and you say, that's a fine website. That's fine. But we don't want fine. My dogs, they deserve better than fine. I need to be able to go to a site and say, oh, wow, that looks really nice. Oh, cool. I love the brick wall. I love the tiles. This looks clean. They have good reviews. I can scroll around. I can meet the team. I can do a hospital tour. I want to be able to understand what's it going to be like when I'm there? What's it going to look like? These are the things that matter. So when you look at your site, when we think about custom design and we think about the little touches that you can do to showcase both where you are and your surroundings, whether it's playing with colors, backgrounds, fonts, photos. This is a brand new hospital that just opened. And, while they're working on photos, we had to find photos that really fit their aesthetic and fit their location in the world. So these are the things we do. We want to design around that, whether you're a brand new clinic, whether you're open yet or not. And that's really important. And credibility has a lot to do with the first impression your brain makes.
How important is the team page?
There's a lot of arguments about that. We believe that you should showcase your team. And now everyone has differing degrees of how they want to do this. You must showcase the vets. Take photos. Guess what? We all have an iPhone in our pocket. Really easy to take pictures. Our team helps write bios too. It's really important. And business credibility means the vet, who is typically the face of the hospital, needs to have a presence on the website.
So we discussed this first brick, which is this trust, which is absolutely essential. So now let's dive a little bit into the technology. The technology needs to match the pet owner expectation. So Whisker Cloud reports that amongst their thousands website, 72% of practice websites are visited on mobile device. Now on Vetstoria, actually, depending on the practice websites and also the location, between 55 and 65% of the appointments are made on mobile device. Is always more mobile. So responsiveness, and Adam, you can maybe explain us what is really responsiveness, is absolutely critical.
There's a lot of things out there that are mobile friendly. We don't want mobile friendly. I want responsive. Responsive means the way we code a site is we have to put in a lot of code in there. So people don't really understand that. If someone says, hey, here's this photo, can you add it to our site? We have to make multiple versions of it. We have to size it down. So let's say we have this cat. There is literal code saying, hey, I'm sizing down. What do I need to do? When does the mobile menu need to show up? What needs to happen with the font? What needs to happen with the pictures? We're doing all of that. So we're coding that in for you custom, because you'll see on most sites that come to us that aren't on Whisker Cloud, when you start dropping down in size, they just hide stuff. Headers are gone, sliders stop working, video stop working. Well, we don't want to do that. We want the experience when you're using a site to work across all devices. And also, a lot of people don't even realize on their current live sites with Whisker Cloud, you might see things on the desktop version, and when you go to your phone, some of those things are gone. But we also have to make a decision based on the data that we see. Hey, someone's on their phone, they're going to look at fewer pages per visit. They're going to spend less time on the site. And typically they want to get things done. They want to get started and book their appointment. 7 out of 10 people are on their phone. So you really need to think about when you're on your phone. This is a little before and after here. This is a site we're working on now. This is the before. And you know what happens? Can anyone read that phone number, see the photo? This is what this looks like on a phone. You can't have that. You can't read that phone number. You can't see that. It's a little, so we don't want that. You want to have, this is the same site that we're rebuilding. You want to have a site when they're on their phone where the videos are still there, where these still work, where you can still get to these photos and videos and have it move with your screen. So those are the things that are really important. And you think about this, consider every person that's on your site like they've never been there. Just like you should be considering every patient or client you have, treat them like it's their first time and they're going to stick around.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm on my phone, I'm looking for a vet and this is the first thing I saw, I'm not even attempting to scroll. I'm saying, I can't read this. This picture's cut off. I don't know what they're selling here. I'm gone. So, you know, responsive design is so important.
When we make a search on Google, 40% of us would simply go back to the search result page if the page that they are visiting doesn't show properly on the mobile device.
Oh, and you know, Google recently in their latest update, they're indexing mobile versions of sites first. So, you know, even when we're building sites, first thing I do is look at it on a phone because I know it's going to be great on a computer. But and really what we do before we launch a site is we do full QAs on all devices to say what's going on here. Is this usable? Does this work? Does that video center properly? What happened to that photo? No, we're going to have to cut it down a little bit on the mobile side. So a lot of work goes into this. But again, 7 out of 10 people see this. I mean, think about 7 out of the 10 of the next people that walked into your hospital. If, you know, something was impeding them from getting in the door, that's kind of scary. So these are important things.
Next, the second technical consideration is this page speeds. Basically means the time it will take for a page just to load and to be displayed on the screen of the device you are using. So there is a study done by Sosta and Google that states that every second to load a page leads to a drop of 20% of the visitor.
Load speed and website speed, there's the amount of misconceptions out there are intense. It's something I have a lot of thoughts on. So when we talk about mobile page load and things like that, typically they're talking about e-commerce, but we're going to have an honest discussion right now. Does load time matter? I don't know. You're going to have to make a decision really early on. This is another group that just signed up with us. This is their current site. Sure, this probably loads. Ta-da, a tenth of a second. Wonderful. You're going to have to make a decision. Here's VC Parker. This is a 250 megabyte 4K video. We all just watched that load in about 2.5 to 3 seconds. You want to run this through Google Page Insights? Google Page Insights is going to say, you're nuts. This gets a 0. But guess what? We'll refresh it again and again. It loads in about 2.5 seconds. So you're going to have to make this decision.
It's a compromise between technical efficiency, loading time, and also what is the content, how you want to display this content.
Yeah. And, you know, like obviously, you know, when we put ADA compliance on every site, this has to load. This is a piece of JavaScript that has to load. So when a site loads, we're loading analytics and tracking that we're running. If we're tracking that has to load. This video has to load. Animations, backgrounds, photos, all of this has to load. It's a lot of stuff. But I want you to go ask the next 10,000 pet parents you meet and just say, hey, both of these hospitals are right next to each other and money's no object. You can have a free exam at either. Pick one. The load speed's important. If you go to your site and you're counting to 7, 8 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi, yeah, I would be worried. But if you've got a 4K video that's that's about a minute long and runs like this and loads that quick, I wouldn't be too concerned about it. And I wouldn't be too concerned of the page and sites that are getting kicked out to you. The one thing that drives me crazy, we get these emails that say, I was at this event and they said to check it here and we scored a 75 out of 100. That seems bad. No, you scored a 75 out of 100 with a 200 megabyte 4K video that plays. You're going to have to make those decisions.
Building this trust to the content and the design, and then you add the technicality of the website, responsiveness, and loading time.
I would focus on having the pretty site and showcasing your brand.
So we have mentioned the importance of this operational functionality that the website should have. Time saving through automation is a must. Every time a customer calls, it takes 4 minutes and 52 seconds of your time. So basically 12 calls equal an hour of your time. And I'm sure that any average clinic gets much more than 12 calls per day. In the meantime, you have half of the customers who are expecting business to open and to be available 24/7. But you can't be available 24/7. So your website can still offer this assistance, this providing the information by having, we call it this FAQ, frequently asked question page, with the right content. So what is essential content should be on FAQ page.
Your goal with your website should be to get your people off the phone. We don't want to be on the phones. You have the website for that. Your people should be taking care of the customers that are there, focusing on the curbside because of COVID, things like that. So I can tell you, as someone who doesn't want to be put on hold, questions should be answered in real time. You want to find everything in one place. What are the hours? What do I do if there's an emergency after hours? Now, some of our people have like a full-blown emergency page. Other people just have called this number. You will be directed on what to do. Ask the people answering the phones at your hospital, what are the people asking most? We want to be able to answer questions for you. And this is all you should be doing here, whether it's, answers to these questions, whether it's filling out doing the appointment through a Vetstoria widget here on this site. Again, why do you want to do this over the phone? Your time is valuable. Your people's time is valuable. Let them take the time to fill this out. How many phone calls does your hospital get every day? If the average one is 5 minutes, what if you could get 10% of those off?
We did a survey last year, and we had 104 practices who participated to this survey, and 91% of them reported that online booking was saving between 30 minutes and 2 hours per day. But these 91 practices, they have one thing in common, is that on their website, they go to book on the website. They can book from Facebook, from Google My Business, from other channel. The website is this really key channel. And they have one thing in common, is that they have very clear call to action on the website to allow the client to schedule the appointment. Now, there is one thing, is that the modern customer, they want to control their customer experience. Modern customer don't want just to be passive. If they want to do it, if they want to do these things, let them taking action for you. It's a win-win.
Yeah. And the one quick thing I'll say here as we go through this is, let's not make this difficult for people how to find, no matter what site, no matter what Whisker Club site you ever look at, you're going to see a lot of book appointments, request appointments. You're going to see these buttons everywhere. It is just absolutely the most important thing to us to have appointment buttons. And a lot of people say to us, do you guys, there's too many appointments there. That's the point of this website. The point of this is to come here and become a customer of yours. That sounds blunt and a little crass, but I don't mean it to be, but I'm saying you guys are in business. And when someone comes to your website, I want them to understand your services, but on every page, once you start getting into deeper pages, appointment button there. These are the things there. Again, we cannot assume that they knew it was on the homepage, so they went back to the homepage. No, if they're on their phone or whatever they're doing, the appointment button should be there. It should be really easy to get no matter what they're doing from any device. So calls to action, they need to be at the top of these sites. It needs to be seen. Don't assume people are going to click on it. You can't assume that.
great websites are essential for modern business. It's a fine balance between the ingredients. The website ingredients are, you have the content and design that you want to use to build this trust. Then you have the technology, responsiveness, and what is the fine balance around the speed, and then functionality that will provide the support for your information, but also your important action point.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the biggest takeaway from me, don't let your website get static. That is the literal purpose of having a good web team behind you. Is you don't have to let it get static. You need to change things as they change. Think about what's happening. Hey, we were just closed for 3 days. Does anyone know? Like, have we told any of our patients who they should call if there's an emergency?
Yeah.
No, let's get that up on the website.
Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for all the screen sharing and the explanation you provided to audience, and to all of you. Thanks a lot for your time.